Ken, when you sat there a couple years ago, and were the interim coach, you said you weren't sure if you wanted to coach, and you got a little taste of it then. Did that kind of help feed this to where you wanted to do this?
Yeah, I think I had the opportunity to, Josh Hurd and the university blessed me with the opportunity to be the director of player development, and I think that kind of kicked off everything for me, giving me the opportunity just to be around these young men daily, just to see their day-to-day life on and off the football field. And I think that was the easy part. I think the tough part is just making sure I kept the guys in line. But overall, having the opportunity to be the interim head coach, that was probably the tipping point of it. Honestly, I truly felt that me being on the sideline with these guys and stepping out of that role, and also going through the meeting process with the young men, just trying to teach them the nuances of the game for the 2 weeks that I had the opportunity to do it. That was really that was vital for me, I think. But the most important piece was my wife and kids. Those guys, my wife and my two daughters and my son, give me the blessings to take this leap of faith. And knowing that I have a very supportive backbone, my wife, who's been holding the fort down for years. Not only just me doing this, but also my years of playing in the NFL. She's been pretty much keeping the entire family together. The kids are doing an amazing job, and I'm super blessed. Trust me, this is one of those fields where it takes the strongest person in your family, and which that's my wife. And I want to say the same thing for all of these coaches who have an amazing supporting staff around them. It makes this job so much more easy.
How do you think you can make an impact? And what kind of impact do you want to make?
Yeah. My biggest thing, look, all of us want to go into this thing, and you look around and see all these coaches, and they're great men and great coaches. Me personally, I've been taught by a lot of great men, and I have a whole lot of resources, a lot of tools, everything up in a lot of knowledge of my brain. The most important piece, I'm just going to be myself. That's the most important piece I've been getting from a lot of my peers, a lot of my former coaches. Like, Deion, you're made for this. Just be yourself. Don't try to go in and do anything no different from somebody else. Be yourself, and that's all you can do. One thing I pride myself on is being able to lead men. That's probably my most important piece. I can sit in a room and I can chitter-chat with each and every last one of these guys, but the most important piece that I pride myself on is leading these guys. I think anybody can stand in front of you and give an amazing rah-rah speech, but can that person lead men? That's me, and that's what I stand for.
Your impression on the guys that you have in your room? You got Colin coming back, Chris Bell back, a bunch of others, as well as some new portal additions. Your thoughts on the receivers in your room?
I always had a lot of respect for those young men that was in the room, even when I was on the sideline as a director of player development. Me personally, I thought that Coach McGee did a great job with those guys, and he left me in good hands with the guys that are left. I think it's Coach Brum and the staff job and the recruiting staff to bring the guys in. It's my job to just give them all the resources and all the tools to play the position and try my best to lead these guys to be the best version of themselves on the football field. And I promise you that I will do that. I mean, having the opportunity to actually plant my cleats in this backyard is probably something that I hold near and dear for myself. And I make sure I express that with those young men. Being a receiver at this university, you got to take a lot of pride in that. And I think the past 2 weeks, Rocco, how long have I been somewhat around?
2 weeks.
Probably like 2 weeks. Give or take, I think the guys see my passion and my determination and my drive to be the best coach for these young men. And they're doing the same thing as players.
Deion, what do you see being the biggest adjustment or learning curve from going from an off-the-field role to an on-the-field role?
The biggest curve for me right now, I would say picking up the million plays that Coach Brown has in his playbook. That's the biggest curve. I mean, realistically, this is what I do. This is what I am. I'll pick all this stuff up. I'm just saying, as of today, it's probably just learning all the plays in which I just left a 2-hour meeting, and we're just going over another 85, 90 plays, and yesterday did another 100. So I just think pretty much picking up the nuances, the verbiage. My biggest thing that I always tell these young men, the game of football is not going to change. What actually changes is the actual players. The game is going to be itself. Running slants, curls, hitches, and all that stuff will stay the same. Maybe the verbiage, and then the players. That's the only difference. The players are going to change. Me adjusting to the guys that are in the room, being that you have this cycle, this transfer portal cycle, that's probably the hardest part about it. You just never know who's going to be in the room this semester and next semester. With these young men having the freedom to leave at will. That would probably be the toughest thing. As far as the game itself, picking up everything, I'm not going to have a hard time with that.
Dan, when it comes down to time to make the decision, you mentioned the advice you got from who do you reach out to? You talk to John L. or Ray Vergone, Bill Belichick, I doubt. I don't know if
I talked to every last one of those guys. Spoke to Coach Belichick 2 weeks ago. Talked to Dave last night. Janelle is always in my ear, and speaking of, I wish I would say this first and foremost, but my condolences and prayers goes out to Coach G and his family. He's another individual that I talk to countless of days. I mean, I used to speak to Coach G way back even when I was playing ball in the NFL. Just an amazing relationship that I had with him, and I'm truly blessed just to have spent the time and have been taught by Coach G a lot of things that he actually instilled in myself. But yeah, trust me, everybody can. I mean, I'm talking to every coach, all of my former teammates, all the scouts that I see who used to be coaches that are now scouting in the NFL. I just have a great circle around me, and I'm very blessed and thankful, to have great, amazing people, amazing coaches as well.
Deion, a couple questions. First of all, how much were the current players advocating for you to get this job? And two, when you go on recruiting visits, do you bring the Super Bowl rings with you?
Nah, no rings. This is the only ring I get to take on the trips. Yeah, Miss Branch, she doesn't play that. So, but as far as the guys advocating, man, I think that's just all the quality time that I was spending with these young men. That has always been the voice and the rhyme and reason for these guys wanting me to be a coach. As a director of player development, you get to spend countless hours with the guys. So I'm really not on the clock as to now. There's only so much time I can spend with the guys, without breaking any rules. Director of player development, I was able to spend countless hours with these young men. Really got the opportunity to know these guys in and out, on and off the football field. And me just having the knowledge and the resources that I can give to these guys. And I did it pretty much for starting with your quarterback all the way down to your specialists. So I didn't pick and choose guys. I wasn't biased towards none of these young men. I love each and every last one of those guys in the locker room. So I think it was pretty much from day one when the job was available. I think all the guys were pushing for it, and I'm very thankful for those news.
Deion, you said you've been around, you've been coached by so many great individuals. What's Deion the coach going to be like? What do you think you're going to, when spring ball gets out there, what are you going to be like?
So they're going to get the same guy, the same director of player development guy. The toughest thing about this, and I actually, I had a moment once I came in and did the interview with Coach Brown, and me knowing that director of player development title was going to be stripped away from me, and me not having the opportunity to engage with every position, every young male on this football team. That was probably the toughest thing about it. You know, I'm stepping away from this role, and now I have to truly focus on 12 to 15 guys. More so, I'm just now, I felt like I was leaving 100 kids. You know, and that was a tough part for me. Every day I still struggle with it because I want to help each and every last one of these guys. But overall, Jay, they're going to get the same guy. I'm going to always be open doors to these young men and give them the best advice I possibly can.
As a follow-up, and like you just said, what that job meant
Yeah.
to you, the other job. Coach Brown said Mel was going to move into that role. What, you know, what talk about him? I know you've spent some time with him.
Yeah.
You've known him for a long time. What's he going to be like?
I have, man. I love Mel. Mel is a former player, and I think that's the most important piece. You know, when you get guys who are very prideful and about their university, their alma mater, man, that's the most important part about it. I think Mel, ain't no thinking it. Mel loves those young men the same way, and he's very passionate about it. He's very passionate about this university, as I was. But they're going to get a very, very, very passionate guy. I was more reserved and a little bit laid back. Mel is going to be a little bit more up in their face, so I'm super excited to see that. But it's all pure love, though. It's all love, and I think the guys know and understand that.
Just quick, I know you've been talking. Oh, sorry. When you coached the Fenway Bowl, you said you were retired for now. I mean, did that just kind of give you a little bit of itch, and are you still going to be unked to the players?
I'm sorry.
Just did that Fenway Bowl give you a little bit of the itch to get
Oh,
back
yeah.
into coaching?
I think it did give me that itch, also that sense of urgency to know that, hey, I know for sure that I can do it. And I understand that it was more on the interim role, because I also found the interim role kind of weird. I mean, they were still coming to me asking all the questions at that time, Josh and Miss Robin. I was just super blessed to have those individuals alongside with me to help guide me through the process. But as far as just coaching the guys, these young men, they just want to be led and guided by, you know, given the right direction. That's the most important piece. I think once they know and see that you care, these young men will do everything for you. And me personally, that's who I am. That's what I'm all about. Giving everything that I was taught throughout all my years, literally high school, college, NFL. I have a lot to give back to these guys, and that's what I'm going to do. You good?